Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings studios, it's time to get locked into the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Thanksgiving is a week away. And these days, folks, in the modern college football era, signing day continues to creep closer and closer to Thanksgiving. Now, I am one who believes firmly, Grayson Singleton, that Christmas season does not begin until Black Friday.
Amen to that.
I believe Thanksgiving deserves to have its day. And then after that, we can pull out all of our Christmas decorations, put the tree up, put the lights up. You're not obligated to share that opinion. That is mine. But these days, because of how close in proximity National Signing Day falls, well, it's still early signing day, but for all intents and purposes, it's National Signing Day. Because of how close in proximity it falls to Thanksgiving season is also spatula season.
Say what now?
Flips abound.
Oh.
Down the stretch. And generally,
Well done by
years
you.
past, no, that's an actual thing that we call it in the industry, spatula season.
Really?
Yes,
I've
last
never heard
couple
it.
of weeks before signing day. Generally, in the past, Oklahoma has not been the villain, if you will. They have not been one of the schools pushing for late flips, at least not with any degree of success. Oregon has become quite known for this. Oregon does it year in, year out. There are other programs, Ohio State, Alabama, LSU to an extent, that have developed a reputation for pulling late flips year after year after year after year. I would say Oregon has become the most dangerous program in that regard, and they almost did it with Peyton Bowen, right? That almost came at OU's expense a few years back. But here in 2025, as we prepare to tie a bow on the 2026 recruiting cycle, the Oklahoma front office and staff, boy, are they active, trying to add some final pieces to the 2026 recruiting class at the illustrious University of Oklahoma. Now, some of those players are still uncommitted, i.e. Jonas Muya, the three-star offensive tackle who will be on campus next weekend for his official visit. I guess their lone official visitor this coming weekend, Dane Bathurst, is in technicality uncommitted, but when Oklahoma offered, he was still verbally pledged to Duke. And so there are a couple uncommitted guys that Oklahoma's pursuing. But you look at the majority of the players for whom the Sooners are still actively in play as they push for signatures on December 3rd. Jaden Petit is still committed to Wisconsin. Messiah Mickens finally officially decommitted from Penn State last night. He will make a decision on signing day between OU, Ole Miss, and Indiana, the four-star running back from Harrisburg. You have Noah Abibi, the three-star offensive line, committed to Tulane. Who am I forgetting? Who are the four official visitors next week? Muya, Mickens, Abibi. Who is the fourth? Who am I spacing on?
Bathurst is visiting this weekend.
It's Bathurst this weekend. I'm having a total brain fart. And then next week, it's Malik Franklin. There you go. Malik Franklin is another uncommitted guy that Oklahoma is pursuing. A late stock riser who at no point has been committed to any school. But with where things sit right now for Oklahoma, we can safely conclude that if all goes according to plan for Oklahoma down the stretch here, the Sooners will assuredly have a top 15 class in the nation. They may have a top 12 class, and there's potentially a path to the top 10. It would take just about everything falling into place. But there is another flip target that has emerged in a very real way over the last 48 hours or so. And that is Markel Ford, the three-star safety who is committed to SMU as of this moment. Before his pledge to SMU, he was for a time committed to Texas A&M, and he has been an OU target for a long, long time. He has not always been a 3-star. His junior year was kind of lackluster. Prior to that, he was a top 150 player in the country. Junior year tape cost him a little bit in the rankings and evaluation department, but he has rebounded and then some with a strong senior year, trimmed up that frame, added muscle, and he is once again a player in whom Oklahoma has a high degree of interest in. That was not always the case. Oklahoma maintained contact with him throughout the process, but their interest had kind of ebbed at a certain point, and that was part of the reason why when he decommitted from Texas A&M, he landed on SMU, was because OU, which in the early stages of his recruitment had been the leader, they weren't really hitting him up the same way that they once were. But bygones are bygones. Less than 2 weeks till signing day. Markel Ford is once again of major interest to the University of Oklahoma. He is still verbally committed to the Mustangs as we sit here today. But this Saturday, Grayson Singleton, he is going to be in Norman, Oklahoma. And we officially have expert predictions beginning to drop in favor of Oklahoma to pull the flip here. Rivals Steve Wiltfong and Sam Spiegelman both officially predicting this morning that the Sooners will wind up signing Markel Ford.
And SMU has always felt like a fallback option in the way that you just articulated that. Decommit from Texas A&M, Oklahoma kind of drops off. All right, I'll go to SMU. By the way, an interesting note on his background, he's on high school number 3 in the last couple of years, too. Went from Mesquite Horn to DeSoto, never suited up for DeSoto, and is now at Lancaster in Dallas.
He's at Lancaster?
I knew you didn't know
Wait,
that.
what?
I knew you didn't know that because you said he was at Mesquite Horn yesterday. I actually found this today. If you go back in the Rivals archives, I can't remember who wrote the story back in August, but he did end up at Lancaster from what I just read. Unless I'm just reading something terribly wrong here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching his senior tape right now, and he is playing for Mesquite Horn,
which was the unless he just ended up going back to Mesquite Horn. Now, are you?
He played this past fall at Mesquite Horn. Can confirm.
Okay, there you go. So, because I read something to the contrary, and then I was like, wait a minute, that's a Mesquite Horn uniform. Anyway, really good player. And a dude that I will tell you this. A lot of tape at corner for this guy. At Mesquite Horn, which was leading me to ask you the question, Parker. He is still being pursued as a safety, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so another guy, again, with positional versatility because he's got really good tape at corner, but he's got really good intangibles and really good skills that make him a really good safety. And one of the things that I noticed on tape, his IQ is off the charts.
Very smart football
His
player.
IQ is his play diagnosis and the way he reacts after what he sees is going to make him a very interesting player down the line in college. So you're talking about, we've talked a lot about physical traits. We've talked about arm length. We've talked about versatility and whatnot. This dude has it upstairs. And if he can marry that with his God-given skills and the frame that he has worked to put together, could be a very interesting player going forward at the collegiate level.
Going to be nice if Oklahoma manages to get back in at Mesquite Horn because, as many will recall, they did make a run at elite offensive tackle Lamont Rogers last cycle. He wound up committing to Missouri, but ultimately signing with Texas A&M. As it stands, the last Mesquite Horn player that Oklahoma rostered was walk-on linebacker Maurice Wren. And this was 3-4 years ago, end of the Lincoln Riley era, I do believe. 4 or 5 years ago. The last scholarship player from Mesquite Horn that Oklahoma rostered, they didn't roster him for very long. It was Chris Robeson, former 4-star quarterback that got kicked off the team. His very first fall with the program and wound up at Florida Atlantic, where he actually had a nice career. I think he's playing in the CFL now, if I'm not mistaken. But if they can land Markel Ford, be huge, man. They've been shopping around for a second safety for quite a while, and it's been about finding the right guy. And Markel Ford is always, I shouldn't say always, but early in the process, he was one of those guys that OU absolutely stamped as the right guy. And that label has been reapplied here based on what he's done as a senior at Horn. Also, he's not the only Horn Jaguar that's going to be visiting the University of Oklahoma this weekend. And folks, you've known all this for quite a while if you're a VIP on OUinsider.com. Plug there. Great place to go and subscribe. Get your first week for just $1. You're going to get all the insider juice on OU football recruiting and so much more. Can't recommend that enough. But he has a teammate, 6'5", 280-pound offensive tackle down at Mesquite Horn by the name of Cole Seaton. And Cole Seaton is currently committed to Baylor. He does not hold an offer from the University of Oklahoma. But he's visiting on Saturday. And at this point in the cycle, OU probably isn't letting a nationally ranked 2026 prospect just show up to campus randomly unless they're genuinely interested in potentially adding him to the class. And there is interest in Cole Seaton from the Oklahoma side. There is interest in Oklahoma from Cole Seaton's side. It remains to be seen whether Oklahoma will extend an offer, because that's where you have to start playing the numbers game, Grayson. And it might be a situation where Oklahoma has to come to a decision, maybe not right away, but over the next week and a half, as to whether they just like Cole Seaton better, substantially better than either Jonas Muya or Noah Abibi, such that they tell one of those guys, hey, thanks, but no thanks. You don't actually have to come out here for our OV, for your OV, I should say. We're just going to take Cole Seaton.
Okay, so what is the timeline with all of this happening? So did they just randomly discover Cole Seaton just in the last week or so? Or is it a situation where they find Abibi, they find Muya, and they find Seaton, and they pick, okay, we like these two better. Oh, wait a minute. Now we've got word that Markel Ford might be happening, so let's at least try to extend an olive branch to his teammate. How does this all work out to where we've had the two that we've talked about, and if they like Seaton better, they may pull back from those two that we talked about starting 2 weeks ago?
Well, I think here's the deal. It may be a bit of an insurance policy. And that's why I think maybe Cole Seaton gets an offer on Saturday. Maybe it waits because, and I want to talk about this subject more broadly, and we will next segment, but this is one of those situations that could be impacted pretty substantially by the coaching carousel. Let me explain. Noah Abibi is committed to Tulane right now. Tulane head coach John Sumrall is more than likely not going to be Tulane's head coach by the time National Signing Day rolls around in a week and a half. He will more than likely by that point have taken the Auburn job or the LSU job, or I don't know, pick one of the vacancies right now. Like John Sumrall's going to get one of those gigs. In my opinion, probably the Auburn one. But with the knowledge that Abibi has been committed to Sumrall and that staff at Tulane for upwards of 6 months now, you have to have an understanding, if you are the staff and front office personnel at the University of Oklahoma, that there may be a world where Sumrall, let's just say for the sake of the hypothetical, is the Auburn head coach a week and a half from now. And he's on the phone with Abibi and the other key cogs in Tulsa's recruiting class saying, hey, come on, let's go to Auburn, Alabama. You're coming with me. And so if Oklahoma wants to take 4 offensive linemen, which they do, you can't necessarily count on Jonas Muya and Noah Abibi being 3 and 4. It's great if it works out that way, but you probably want to have a guy that you got proverbially loaded in the chamber just in case. And to me right now, that's where Cole Seaton comes into the mix, because just engaging that situation with Seton and talking with the kid himself last night, I've gotten the sense if he gets the offer, he's coming to Oklahoma. So that may be your jet new break glass in case of emergency guy heading into the last 48, 72 hours before signing day. Give him the green light. He's in the signing class.
You brought up Messiah, you brought up Messiah Mickens, 2-star Puerto Rican Sooner on the text line. By the way, 405-651-3439 on the text line. I'm pretty worried about Mickens. Ole Miss and Indiana pay up. Is OU willing to break the bank for him?
Look, you can't rule anything out. You can't rule anything out in recruiting. But I will say this and only this. From the Oklahoma side, they are very confident that Messiah Mickens is going to be a Sooner. I would say more confident in his case than with really any other player that they are pursuing down the stretch here, bar none. There is the most confidence right now from the Oklahoma side of things that Messiah Mickens is going to wind up in OU's class. Again, I'm not making any promises. It's not my place to do so. I have never done that. But the vibe between OU and Messiah Mickens is very, very strong. 405-651-3439 is the text line if you want to interact with us throughout the show. And we love interacting with all of you. We love it when you guys make your voices heard here on the program. Coming up next, I want to talk about the coaching carousel. Because, boy, this is probably going to be, in a broad sense, the biggest topic of conversation in the college football world over the next 2 weeks. And there are some interesting rumblings across the board going around right now. So we'll dig into some of those and discuss with you on the text line again, 405-651-3439. Keep it here on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
For the professional, it's not enough to just possess knowledge. That's why at GMC, we seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries, while pushing the limits. And we put this knowledge to the test in every GMC Sierra by engineering each one to outperform your expectations. So you know you're getting precision and durability when you need it most. And that's what makes the GMC Sierra the truck worth knowing. We are professional grade. See your Oklahoma GMC dealers.
Farmers and ranchers, when it's time to buy or sell ag equipment, think Purple Wave Auction. We're your go-to online marketplace for tractors, combines, sprayers, and more. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Experience the Purple Wave difference. Nationwide reach with a local touch. Purple Wave Auction. Whether you're expanding your operation or streamlining your fleet, we've got you covered. Visit purplewave.com today. Fuel your farm with Purple Wave Auction.
There's never a perfect moment to talk to your kids about the dangers of tobacco. So, how about right now? We're giving you the rest of this ad time so you can talk with your kids. Not quite ready? Find everything you'll need to start the conversation at talkabouttobacco.com. Brought to you by T-Set.
For the cost of a round of golf or a nice dinner out, you can have peace of mind that your lung health is in check. That peace of mind, it's a $75 lung scan performed in November at Norman Regional. November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and our lung experts want you to know that early lung cancer detection saves lives. Visit normanregional.com/lungscan or call 405-307-2290 to schedule your discounted $75 lung scan.
This is Peggy Doviak of DM Wealth Management. And as you put together your financial plan, it's important to play defense just like you're playing a football game. First, you need to have an emergency fund, that money laid back in case everything goes wrong. Next, you need to have adequate insurance. And finally, put together an estate plan to make sure those you love inherit the things you want them to get. We'd love to help you plan your prosperity. Check us out at dmwealth.com.
Are you looking for luxury apartments for rent in Norman? The Falls at Brookhaven offers stunning apartments and a well-maintained, calm atmosphere. Enjoy our landscaping, a swim in the pool, or take your pet for a walk in one of our 2 dog parks. Our spacious outdoor areas and state-of-the-art amenities will make this new home feel like a resort. All this can be right outside of your door when you live at the Falls at Brookhaven. Call our locally owned and operated community at 405-701-8233 or go online to thefallsatbrookhaven.com to view our spacious floor plans.
Are pests invading your home? Call Avenge Pest Control now and get your initial pest control service at half price. Avenge Pest Control is a family-owned and operated company, proudly serving the entire Oklahoma City metro area, Enid, Ardmore, and the Durant-Texoma area. They take care of all of our pest control needs here at the Ref, and they offer free termite inspections and comprehensive services. With mice and rat season upon us, don't wait. Protect your home today. Get more info at AvengePestControl.com or call 405-693-2233. Avenge Pest Control.
Life is yours to spend. Spend it expanding your balance. Spend it expanding your mind. Spend it wondering what comes next. Spend it trusting that God has a plan. Spend it taking small steps in your own life. Spend it making a big impact on someone else's. First United Bank. Spend life wisely.
Ooh, major scoop. Major scoop from the Waffler on the text line. I am pretty sure John Gruden is going to be the next head coach at Arkansas. That's that's up there with LSU and Eli Drinkwitz as the most hilarious coach program fit that could actually work. I could see John Gruden having success at Arkansas.
Yeah.
Arkansas, if there's a college job for John Gruden, it might be Arkansas. But let's dig into this coaching carousel, Grayson, because there is so much going on. I issued a slew of very early predictions of where things were going to land for some of these key candidates. We've had more vacancies open since then. Obviously, James Franklin has given us the first domino, if you will. The first domino has fallen with Franklin taking the Virginia Tech job on Monday. But in talking with a variety of industry sources about where things stand right now at some of these programs that are actively searching for their next head coach, Grayson, I think initially I had it flipped. Because initially my feeling was it's going to be Alex Golish at Oklahoma State and Eric Morris at Arkansas.
Yep.
I am now of the opinion that it's going to be Eric Morris at Oklahoma State and Alex Golish at Arkansas, which I will say, if that is the outcome, I think Oklahoma State got the better end of that deal.
100% I do.
Especially because think about the guys that Eric Morris could bring with him to Oklahoma State. Obviously, the quarterback, Drew Messamaker. But
Caleb
also
Hawkins.
Caleb Hawkins, right? You'd think a kid from the state of Oklahoma. I know he grew up an OU fan and all, but think a kid from the state of Oklahoma, if he can have the opportunity to go play for the same head coach and you would think a majority of the same staff back in his home state, that might be even more appealing to him than a fit like OU. And as we've discussed, if Caleb Hawkins were to get in the transfer portal at season's end, he would get a call from the University of Oklahoma very quickly. But that could be a pretty seamless transition for Eric Morris with some of the pieces that he would be able to bring with him from North Texas to Oklahoma State. So that's what I'm watching there. I think Eric Morris winds up being the guy in Stillwater. And I think Golish right now. Arkansas has become the one that I can't really figure out. Golish is the guy that recently has picked up the most steam behind the scenes. So we'll see if that holds. Still could go a variety of different directions, though. And I hope that goes without saying about all of these, because the Lane Kiffin saga is what everybody's waiting on.
And do you think that a lot of these openings we keep hearing a lot about because they're all revolving around Lane Kiffin? Whereas Arkansas, we've never seen Arkansas and Lane Kiffin in the same sentence, which kind of makes me think the reason you're not hearing much about who they're going to get is because there's a higher chance that any of us either realize or would like to admit that Bobby Petrino keeps the job.
That'd be fun, man. That's kind of the outcome I'm rooting for. I want to see Bobby P as head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks
in a way.
Permanent capacity again. I still believe, I have said it from the jump, I will stand by it. I still believe Lane Kiffin is the next head coach of the University of Florida. I think for so many reasons, that just makes sense. And regardless of what his ultimate decision is, Grayson, whether he goes to Florida, whether he goes to LSU, whether he stays at Ole Miss, there's going to be a legion of people that are pissed off at him permanently at the end of all of this with how this all has played out. I don't foresee him staying at Ole Miss. I think it's virtually impossible to talk yourself into that being the outcome right now. It feels for all the world like he's going to take either the LSU job or the Florida job. I think it winds up being the Florida job. We shall see. John Summerall is and has been the front runner at Auburn. That really hasn't changed. I know Kenny Dillingham's name has gotten tossed around here, there, and everywhere to a certain extent, including at Auburn where he's worked before, but I don't think, as of right now, Dillingham is on the move. That's obviously pending other vacancies that could come available that might interest him. But I think it's Summerall's job till it ain't at Auburn. Randomly, Oregon State, I've heard Paul Christ, longtime Wisconsin head coach, who had 2 separate stints as the OC and quarterbacks coach at Oregon State. And this one was kind of, this was not on my bingo card at all. The front runner for the UCLA job right now is Bob Chesney from James Madison. First time I heard that, and it was over the weekend, that I was told pretty reliably, yeah, Bob Chesney looks like the guy at UCLA. I was like, what? But that buzz has only continued to percolate and intensify over the last several days. That's a guy that has coached, well, first off, he has coached his entire career on the East Coast, like Eastern Seaboard, Eastern time zone. He is, I think this is part of the appeal for a school like UCLA and hiring a guy like that. He's very much followed the same career path as Curt Cignetti. He won at the D3 level. He won at the D2 level. He won at the FCS level, and now he's winning at the FBS level.
And the last Power 4 team to hire James Madison head coach ended up pretty good.
Who also happened to be Curt Cignetti.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, exactly. That's exactly my point.
I think Bob Chesney would be a heck of a hire for UCLA. I think that's a very hard job right now. And I don't know how immediately he would be able to win there, but I think that's about the best case scenario. If you can coax that guy all the way across the country to Los Angeles to be your next head football coach. LSU is where things get really, really interesting. They're obviously in the market for Kiffin. We know that. He's the betting favorite in Vegas to be the next LSU head coach. Do I buy that he winds up being the guy at LSU? Personally, I do not, but you must concede it's a strong possibility. Feels like LSU or Florida for Lane Kiffin. If it's not Kiffin and he does go to Florida, I think at that point LSU's head coach is Eli Drinkwitz. I think it's Drink to Baton Rouge at that point. However, this is worth mentioning. I've made my personal stance on this situation very clear. And this individual. But I got one of those calls yesterday from somebody where when you see their name pop up on your phone, you're answering the call no matter what. And that individual told me, I think Lincoln Riley is going to be the next head coach at LSU. And I said, what?
Okay, talk to me about this now.
No, I said bull crap. Lincoln Riley in the SEC? No way. He doesn't want any part of that. And this individual told me, I'm just telling you now, keep an eye on that. So I guess we'll see. But if not Kiffin at LSU, I tend to think it's going to be Eli Drinkwitz and Lincoln Riley winds up at a Baylor, for instance. But could this whole thing come full circle 4 years later and Lincoln Riley is the next head coach at LSU?
Man, right after the home and home with Oklahoma is all said and done, huh?
Brian Bixby says, Parker, so your wife told you that. Yes, she is one of those people that I answer the phone for no matter what. But there are many other folks who know things in the college football. Like, I'm not even convinced my wife could tell you who Lane Kiffin is. She's a very casual football fan, which is nice. It's nice to go home and not talk football. But, yes, she's not. She doesn't pay much attention to college football. She pays attention to the OU games, obviously, but she says I can't watch them sometimes because they're so stressful.
Here's my whole thought on this situation.
Okay.
If I am Lane Kiffin, especially if I win a playoff game, I'm already going to get a raise. Why would I leave? I mean, Lane Kiffin right now, let's think about this. If Lane Kiffin gets this team to the postseason and gets them a playoff win, maybe 2, what other heights has Ole Miss ever been on? And it's not like you're doing this at a mid-level Power 4 program. You're doing this at an SEC program. So all I'm saying is your job is not a pressure cooker.
Nope.
You're taking it to very high heights. You can get people in the transfer portal. You can recruit people very well to Ole Miss. And you're the fifth. Like, I don't understand why you would leave and go to a job like LSU or like Florida where it's already a pressure cooker. Now factor in the expanded playoff, makes people even more impatient than they already have been. You're already there. Like, unless this is just a personal career endeavor, I don't see why you leave.
I agree with you 1,000%. 1,000%. If I am Lane Kiffin, and I am obviously not Lane Kiffin, if I'm looking back on all that I've accomplished in my career, being, the youngest NFL head coach ever? ? Definitely the youngest NFL head coach of the 21st century. Having coached at Tennessee, having coached at Ole Miss, certainly, and won more than anybody has at Ole Miss, and taken that program to new heights. Having been on staff and won national championships at a place like Alabama under Nick Saban, having worked with and alongside some of the greatest names that the profession has witnessed in the 21st century, and having seen all that I've had the opportunity to see and experienced all that I've had the opportunity to experience in my coaching career, at this point, I'm looking for the last job. And Ole Miss, to me, makes a lot more sense as the last job, especially with what I've already built there.
Exactly.
Than Florida or LSU. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe Lane Kiffin sees Florida or LSU as his last job. Whether it goes up in flames or whether he wins multiple national titles there, this is it. This is his last ride. But, man, if you keep Ole Miss in the playoff hunt for years to come, Lord knows if you can ever break through and actually win a national title there, which I think they have the resources to do, you're going to have your name on the stadium a couple decades from now. You'll forever be a legend in Oxford, Mississippi.
And that's the whole point, Park, is that he might have already found it. You know, like in life you talk about, like, don't go chasing more money, don't go chasing more stuff when you already got what you got right there. I feel like that's where Lane Kiffin is. Like, he is there. Like, he is at the destination job. If you can continue to build on this, that overall mode of thinking is why I don't think he should leave. And if I were him, I would not. I will say this, too. If Lane Kiffin leaves to take the Florida job, and I know Oklahoma does play Florida next year in 2026, and if Eli Drinkwitz goes to LSU, like you predicted, man, our weeks leading up to those Missouri and Ole Miss games gets a little bit less interesting. Just a little bit. Because I don't know about you guys on the text line. I don't know about you, Parker. But I enjoy having coaches and having to talk about coaches that the fan base as a whole despises.
The other thing for me is, if Lane Kiffin does take the job at Florida and or LSU, he's not going to be coaching Ole Miss in the college football playoff. And I just can't imagine doing all that work, the work of roster construction, the work of coaching and developing your players, and game planning week in and week out to navigate the meat grinder that is the SEC, and going what will be either 11-1 or 10-2 over the course of a regular season in the Southeastern Conference, having the opportunity to go play in the college football playoff, and then leaving it all behind.
Mm-hmm.
I can't fathom that. I'm a very competitive person. The competitor in me simply wouldn't allow that. Regardless of whether or not I felt better about this job or that job or whatever, I wouldn't be leaving Ole Miss for the sole fact, hey, like, everything that you aspire to as a football player and as a football coach is right there in front of this team.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And all you got to do is go win 3, maybe 4 games to reach the zenith, the peak, the pinnacle of college football, and to do something that's never before been done at that program. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, I don't know how you would stomach that as a competitor. Hey, Frisco Sooner on the text line says this: I'm sorry, guys, but who died and made Lane Kiffin this incredible coach all of a sudden? Really, if you think about it, what has he ever really did? Everyone acts like this guy is the next coming of Nick Saban. Thank God we don't have to deal with that prima donna.
First off, Frisco Sooner, I don't think anybody has treated Lane Kiffin as the next coming of Nick Saban. He is the most desirable name on this current coaching carousel, and he has done enough to earn that distinction. There's a reason why LSU and Florida are trading haymakers over this guy. And then you have Ole Miss stuck in the middle, hanging on for dear life to the man that they hope will be their coach for the foreseeable future. It's going to be interesting, man. 405-651-3439 is the text line. Keep firing away. We need to hit another break. Hear from our fine sponsors. Come on back and continue talking OU football, college football at large, and, of course, recruiting, answering your questions via text. Stay here on The Ref. The home of Sooner fans. We'll be right back.
Dusty Dvorak here. Do you eat, sleep, and breathe football? KREF is the only place for the most comprehensive daily analysis of Sooner and college football. We are the football experts. We're the home of Sooner fans. Download the KREF app and listen from anywhere.
At Armstrong Bank, your business isn't just business to us. It's personal. Our bankers are invested in your success, and we're ready to build a relationship that lasts. You deserve a strong financial partner by your side. Together, we can help make your business even stronger with products and services designed for your convenience. To learn more, visit a location near you or visit armstrong.bank. Armstrong Bank. Strength runs in our family. Member FDIC.
Hey Sooners, I'm OU alum and Boyd Street Ventures founder James Spann. Some players are just built different, and so are some companies. At Boyd Street Ventures, we find under-the-radar Oklahoma companies with the drive, grit, and talent to win big. Our portfolio is growing fast, and so is our investor interest. Fund 1 closes December 31st, so don't wait. To learn more, visit BoydStreetVentures.com. That's BoydStreetVentures.com. Under the radar, above the crowd.
Sooner Nation, are you ready? Football season is here, and new arrivals are landing daily at Balfour of Norman from your favorite brands. Whether you're dressing for game day, setting up the perfect tailgate, or hosting the ultimate watch party, we've got everything you need. Live from historic Campus Corner in Norman, Oklahoma. Shop Balfour of Norman, your home of everything Sooner. Shop in store or online at crimsonproud.com.
The Mont invites you to come by and enjoy our high-quality food and drinks in our historic atmosphere. The Mont has won numerous awards, including Best Restaurant in Norman, Best Appetizer for our great queso, Best Exotic Drink for the original swirl, the Best Patio Dining for our beautifully landscaped patio. Come see the Town Tavern OU football scoreboards dating back to 1947. We'll see you at the Mont on the corner of Boyd and Classen, or call us at 329-3330.
Fowler Automotive is proud to be a part of your community, where our passion and values lie far beyond the showroom. We believe that families, sports, art, and culture are at the heart of every thriving community, and it's important to us that we help build the communities that our dealerships call home. Stop by any of our 6 Oklahoma dealerships to see the Fowler Standard hard at work. We pride ourselves on being friendly, helpful, honest, and fair. This is what drives us every day. Fowler Automotive, a proud partner of OU Athletics.
Sooner fans, you know a great comeback when you see one. This holiday season, experience the ultimate redemption story with Scrooge the Musical, live at the Sooner Theater in Norman. It's got heart, laughs, and more spirit than an SEC fourth quarter. Watch Ebenezer Scrooge turn his game around and score big for Christmas cheer. Don't get benched. Grab your seats now at SoonerTheater.org. Scrooge the Musical, December 12th through the 21st, the home field advantage for your holiday season.
Hey, it's Dari Noka for Totally Tickets. Hey, Ref Army, you looking for the best place to buy tickets to your next OU game, Thunder game, or the best concerts? My friend Mike, call him Fletch, and Totally Tickets has you covered. Visit TotallyTickets.com to find your event today. Oh, and good news, Ref Army, just type in the promo code KREF and get up to 10% off your purchase. Go to TotallyTickets.com now. They are the best.
Hey, this is Tyler McComas with The Rush, and I just want to tell you about an indoor golf experience that I've never seen before, and frankly, I didn't know existed. I recently spent about 2 hours playing at Land Run Links in Oklahoma City, and I really wanted to stay there all day long. It's a golf simulator, but better. It has 300 courses to offer, and one of the many great things about Land Run Links is it's for all skill levels. Check them out today, landrunlinks.com. That's landrunlinks.com.
This is a wild tweet that just hit my feed at twitter.com. It's from TMZ.
Oh, this is going to be good.
The tweet is hashtag breaking alarm emoji. Olympian turned drug kingpin Ryan Wedding.
I saw this.
Currently on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list, has been accused of ordering the murder of a witness. That's a dude who has lived a life, man. Apparently, he was an Olympic snowboarder.
Yes.
For Canada in the early 2000s.
Uh-huh.
You go from Olympic snowboarder to drug kingpin in the same lifetime. I need the docuseries, bro. Give it to me.
Hey, as long as Netflix isn't making it since they screwed up all the Untolds that they made, shoot, I'm here for it because I would love to know about that dude.
Yeah, on that note, by the way, can we just bring back cable? Can we just bring back the concept of the television cable package? We don't need 9 different streaming services to be able to watch everything. It's ridiculous. Consolidate. Please consolidate. Anyway, Canadian snowboarder turned drug kingpin. That's wild. I like to think I live a reasonably interesting life. It's maybe like a 0.5 on the Ryan Wedding scale. Holy smokes. Got a text from an industry buddy earlier who said, regarding new Oklahoma cornerback commit Markel Davis, the Sooners' newest addition to the 2027 class, and I quote, "He's going to be like Guillory and start day one." Now, would I go that far? I would not, because when Markel Davis shows up in 2027, there's still a very realistic chance that Cortland Guillory and Eli Bowen are firmly entrenched as your starting cornerbacks. At that point, Guillory will be a true junior. Bowen, assuming he's still around, would be a true senior. So is Markel Davis going to start day one? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on the situation at that point. But one thing that I did mention the day he committed, and I will reiterate, I feel very, very confident that that is a dude that's going to see the field very quickly at Oklahoma. Some guys, you can tell on tape, okay, they're going to need a little while, whether for physical development or technical seasoning or what have you. No, Markel Davis is a guy that has it all. And when he steps on campus at the University of Oklahoma, he's going to contend for playing time right away.
And sometimes the way I looked at that with your buddy in the industry texting you that he'll start day one, I don't even take that as, oh, this is a dude I expect as a starter. You know how I interpret that, Parker? This is a dude who will be good enough to start day one. Now, if there are better guys in front of you, okay, fine. But he's still good enough, which means that when you eventually rotate corners, because in college, corners do not play every single snap, he's going to be in there, and he's going to be a dude who is capable of starting at the SEC level, but he'll just be in the rotation.
This cornerback class, and we talked about it previously, this cornerback class in 2027 definitely has the chance to be the best that Oklahoma has ever signed. They have Mikael McCreary and they have Markel Davis already committed. If they lock down Juju Johnson, which the odds look very good, if they can lock down Juju Johnson when he commits next week, or I guess the week after next, Monday, 11 days from now, and then they can tack on a Gabe Osborne or a Darius Johnson or Torrey Blaylock's younger brother Trenton, who's an excellent defensive back down in the state of Texas as well. Oklahoma, when all is said and done, regardless of what that exact cornerback class looks like personnel-wise, just with the options that are on the table for them right now and the guys that they already have locked in, we're going to be talking about that core of cornerbacks as one of the greatest that has ever been assembled in a single recruiting class at Oklahoma. And then they got to go and play like it, right? That's certainly the case. It doesn't mean anything if those guys show up to Oklahoma and never do anything. But it's not hard to figure when you watch Mikael McCreary's tape, when you watch Markel Davis's tape, when you watch Gabe Osborne's tape, for instance, and certainly Juju Johnson and the rest fall into that same category. Okay, these guys probably aren't going to be worthless at the University of Oklahoma. They may get hurt. You can't really account for that. They may get derailed by injury, whatever. But if everything stays on track for these dudes, that Oklahoma secondary by the year 2029 is going to be devastating.
It almost feels like Oklahoma has a monopoly on the blue chip corners in the 2027 class, does it not? And the best part about it, especially if on top of it you get a blue chip safety like a Samaj Stanford from within state lines, it almost feels like you've started from in-state lines and then you've branched out. Now, I know the timeline of events won't match up with that in terms of commitments because neither Osborne nor Stanford has committed, whereas some of these other guys from the state of California and in Markel Davis' case from the state of Arizona have already committed. But it does feel like you checked all the boxes, right? You got your in-state kids, and then we branched out thanks to the expansion of the front office that we added this past off season. So, man, they're in a really good spot. They're in a pretty dangerous spot, too, for the rest of the SEC.
Quick aside on the text line from a 405 listener. Parker, if the drug kingpin story intrigues you, check out the movie Molly's Game. Sister Jeremy Bloom, it's fantastic. Yes, I've seen it. Seen the movie. And by the way, if there is ever a movie made about Red November in the 2025 football season at the University of Oklahoma, I would like to nominate Idris Elba to play Lake Dawson, Oklahoma's assistant GM.
Okay.
There is a very strong resemblance there.
Who would you nominate to play Jim Nagy?
That's a good question.
And who would you nominate to play Brent Venables?
I don't know. I'll have to have the text line. I'll have to enlist the help of the text line in casting BV and Jim Nagy.
Come on, guys.
We
got 6 minutes in this hour left.
The Red November movie. We got to cast BV. We got to cast Jim Nagy. And then we got to cast all the important figures on the roster as well. But there's plenty of time to dive into all of that. Sooner Bump said Brad Pitt for Nagy. They're not really. Nah, I wouldn't. BV played by Christian Bale. I can get behind that.
Okay, I can get behind that.
I can get behind that.
I just saw that.
That's a good suggestion, Darren in Tampa. But looping back around, Chris from Knoxville said, I dreamed of days where Oklahoma had an elite secondary again. Because it has been a long time, Grayson Singleton. And that's what makes me particularly excited about the way that the 2027 class is coming together, is in particular the way that that secondary looks. Because Oklahoma's weakness for so long, and it hasn't always been their only weakness, but a very conspicuous weakness for Oklahoma for so many years has been the secondary. And you're starting to see them turn a corner here in 2025. Eli Bowen and Cortland Guillory, those are two dudes. They're not your only two dudes. When Gentry Williams is healthy, he's a dude too. But Eli Bowen and Cortland Guillory, especially given that one's a sophomore and one's a freshman, that's a fun tandem to have out there at cornerback for the next couple of years.
No,
at least.
It really is. And, Gentry Williams is going to move on after this year, so that will be your dudes going forward on the outside, and you can smoothly transition into whatever. Obviously, you got to keep stacking this up because at least one of them, Guillory I'm referring to, is likely going to leave early and be a top 2 round pick in the draft.
I wasn't going to say it, but Brian Vineyard, the owner here at the Ref, did. Unfortunately, Nagy looks like Matthew McConaughey.
Bingo. And that was my first thought, was Matthew McConaughey. As a matter of fact,
I didn't want to go there.
As a matter of fact, Tanner, I held off saying it. I tried to hold off saying it, but if Brian's gonna say it, I'm gonna say it too. Tanner on the YouTube chat, by the way, Matthew McConaughey for Jim Nagy.
Yeah,
he looks too much. It's too
a little
good.
Too easy.
It's too perfect.
Unfortunately, Matthew McConaughey is a very prominent Longhorn, so that might feel wrong, but that would be the best casting decision, I think, if you're going for sheer accuracy. But no, man, like when we look at Oklahoma's secondary right now and what it has the potential to be in the years ahead, this is what makes me most confident that Oklahoma is in the process of building a championship program. And I always, whenever we get into this conversation, I always make sure to distinguish between championship team and championship program, because they're different. A championship team competes for a year. TCU had a championship team in 2022. Senior heavy, first-year coaching staff with a lot of very, how can I put it? A lot of chemistry amongst them, as well as some guys on that staff that are really, really, or I say were really, really good at their jobs at that point. The jury's out on Garrett Riley at this point, but he was cooking in 2022 for TCU. TCU had a championship team. When you can build a championship program, a championship program is the type of program that is in championship conversations, maybe not winning them, but they are in that conversation year after year after year after year. Brent Venables has been a part of 2 championship programs in his coaching career. Oklahoma had a championship program under the direction of Bob Stoops throughout the 2000s. Clemson had a championship program under Dabo Swinney throughout the latter half of the 2010s. Oklahoma, with all of the pieces that they have put in place on the staff level, on the front office level, on the administrative level, certainly on the roster as well, because it comes down to the Jimmies and Joes ultimately. But with all of the pieces that they have in place and the pieces that are set to fall into place over the next couple of years, I genuinely do believe that this is a program that is equipped to go compete for championships year after year after year after year, as long as the recipe stays the same. And, of course, it's going to be easier said than done to keep continuity on the coaching staff, and you're going to have to give guys raises year in and year out to keep them around, to keep everybody satisfied and all that. But I think maybe the biggest indicator that Oklahoma is turning a corner towards being a championship program is the fact that they're starting to look like that secondary could be truly elite in the not-too-distant future. It's good right now. I would say it's verging on great right now. It could be truly elite within a couple years.
Got to get offense right.
Got to.
Got to consistently get offense right. But
and that should be easy at Oklahoma, right?
You would think. You would think. But I do 100% agree with the sentiment that you are on the right track. If they can get consistent offense right, you're going to be in really, really good shape.
It's almost the exact same conversation that we were just having about the challenges that lie ahead with Missouri and LSU these last 2 weeks, right? You did the hard stuff. Now you just got to take care of the easy stuff. The hard stuff was rebuilding the defense.
Yeah.
The hard stuff was making defense great again in Norman, Oklahoma. The easy stuff ought to be playing high-octane offense, because that's never really been a problem in the 21st century at the University of Oklahoma until last season.
No, you're right.
When the wheels fell off in every manner imaginable. You did the hard stuff. Now if you can do the easy stuff, championship contention is staring you right in the face for the years to come at the University of Oklahoma. And with that, folks, it is time to sign off. Grayson, Singleton, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Until then, though, stick around, because Tyler and Ted have 3 more hours of OU Sports Talk incoming here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Take it easy.